with them without recognition. If that is lacking, then you find that people will be in such a place like this and they will not be able to enjoy what they ought to enjoy. Mary and Martha recognized that somebody is their master, and the disciples were there and they came with Jesus. Jesus did not go alone now, but the person that Martha had that was come was who? The master. Did the master go there alone? No. The master went with Peter was there. John was in the convoy in the tour, and Judas was there. James was there, and the rest of the people. But the person that the news of his arrival came to who? To Martha was the master, Jesus. Am I right? Now, did Peter quarrel about that? No. He recognized that somebody is the master, and that was the person that they announced that the master is come. Now, and that was the Martha rushed down and saw Jesus. The disciples of Jesus were there because Thomas said, let us also go with him and die. So they all went with him. But the announcement is what? The master is what? Come. And they didn't quarrel about that. They recognized that somebody is their master, and they didn't quarrel about that. They didn't quarrel about them being recognized, because they know that there was master, and they followed it. And so when announcement was made to Mary that the master is come, she rushed to meet the master, and with that she waited for the master, and the master attended to her matter. And therefore, what am I saying? I am saying that somebody has a higher authority, somebody has a higher influence in heaven and on earth, and that should be recognized by whosoever that wants to benefit. Listen to me. The influence that Abraham had cannot be, in dealing with God, cannot be compared with the influence that Lot had in his dealing with God. Abraham could stop God and stand, and God stood listening to him, not Lot. There was no way Lot could just move in and then stood God and said, and made the arguments, and then they said, let him not be angry. I make another argument, and then I made another argument. No, Lot didn't have that influence. He didn't have that authority. Abraham was what? The master. Are you listening? You need to pay attention, because in the church, if you don't operate with knowledge, you will be doing things that you will harm yourself. You will be losing. You will not get into the things you need to get into. And so Abraham, God could stand for Abraham to make those arguments, but not for Lot. Not for Lot. And so, and listen to me, the influence that Paul had in his dealings with heaven, Timothy does not have it. Timothy did not have it. Are you listening? This is true. And Paul was the master, and Timothy was being groomed up by Paul. They don't have equal influence before God. One had experience that took him to heaven, and he said 14 years ago or thereabout, somebody was taken to the third heaven. He had a voice which no man could have. Timothy did not have that experience, and therefore we find that this one was the master, this one was a trainee that was coming up. They don't have the same level of or degree of influence before men and before God. You need to recognize it. No, they don't have the same degree of influence before God and before men. Now, if respect is given to Abraham, a fantastic respect accorded to Abraham, and Lot began to quarrel in his mind. He didn't understand the ways of God. And if heaven gives attention to Abraham and Lot, saying, me too also, what one man can do, another man can do it also. No, it's not so, brother. It's not so, sister. What one man can do, another man cannot do it. Another man can only do it if he's able to grow to that level. What Moses could do, Joshua couldn't do it, because Joshua was not what? Moses. Moses was at his level and Joshua at his level. After Moses had gone and Joshua began to operate, all the operations of Joshua was under what was commanded unto Moses. We will obey you as we have obeyed Moses. We will hearken unto you as we have hearkened unto Moses. Anyone who understands this, listen to me. As I have returned from journey, are you listening? As I have returned from journey, and then I don't know when I'm traveling again, and I have few times with you and speak truth to you, you have to what? Accept it, and allow it to go deep into your life, and then connect you to what you need to be connected. Period. If that is accepted, good. If that is not accepted, good. But this is truth. Another truth you need to buy. Now listen to me. Listen to me. Each time I travel and come back, some pastors that are handling some project for us in our sites will always tell the workers, when they have been accumulating some debts, unpaid debts, they will tell them, Oga travel. Oga travel. And immediately the workers will hear, Oga has come. What's the meaning of Oga? Oga is what? Master. Anytime the workers on those sites hear Oga has come, every one of them will be rushing to the site, because they know that Oga has come back, and if there is any money they're owing them, then we will start paying the debts. Those of you that are on our side, am I speaking the truth? Now these workers are unbelievers. They recognize that there is something Oga can do, that changes will occur whenever Oga comes around. And they buy into it. They understand this. They allow this to rule them. They follow this. And of course, if I come and here Oga has come, then you will do as Oga has come. So you need to recognize this truth. And therefore, I have come back. Those workers at the site recognize that Oga has what? Come. And come to the site tomorrow, next tomorrow, and this week we are coming. Everywhere will be booming. Everywhere will be filled up. I was on the site yesterday and just scanty. But now they heard that rumor has gone everywhere that Oga has come back. The site will come back to life again. Yes, now unbelievers recognize that there is Oga in this site. You have to recognize that we have Oga Master. His name is what? Jesus. But in ministry also, we have what? Master in ministry. In the Watchman Catholic Charismatic Renewal Movement, the general superintendent is the overall master of the Watchman. He has a master also. In this area, I am what? I am the master, and the master has what? Come back. You need to recognize this. I'm not playing boldness. I am telling you truth. I am telling you truth. You are not the master. Joseph is not the master. Are you the master here? You are not. John is not the master. And Emmanuel is not the master. Martin is not the master. I am the master. I am not the master of the Watchman Catholic Charismatic Renewal Movement. The general superintendent is the master. And I tell you the truth, anytime you are privileged to listen to him, you know that you are listening to my master. And therefore, the way you listen should be different. Are you listening? And as he prays for you, the faith, the way you connect should be different. You are listening to a higher authority. You are listening to a man having a higher influence. You are listening to a man having a higher dealing. And now that I am back, the man speaking to you has a higher dealing as far as this diocese is concerned. And therefore, key into this truth, and you will see what will become of you, of that matter, by the time we are through with this short treatise. Praise the Lord. Now, the apostles recognized this truth and were delivered from life-threatening storms. In Mark chapter 4, they were crossing River Gennesaret, and storm arose, and they were struggling with the storm. They were disciples. Jesus had trained them. They were disciples, struggling until it dawned on them, this matter, we cannot handle it. There is a master. There is somebody that is with us. There is somebody that is in this ship with us. Let's consult him. Let's tell him about this situation. And they now went to him and cried to him, Master, carest thou that we perish? And he stood up and said, Peace, be still. Did the master prove that he was the master? He proved that he was the master. The sea, the storm, the waves, the storm, all on hearing his voice, they recognize that somebody they should obey is talking. Listen to me. My voice is recognized in heaven. The voice of my Jesus is recognized in heaven. The voice of these our pastors are recognized in heaven. And God understands levels of authority each of these voices have. Levels of influence which these authorities, which these voices have. They have no equal influence. They have no equal authority. Hear it. Hear this truth and recognize it. Are you listening? My voice has no equal authority and equal influence with the voice of the general superintendent. Your voice has no equal authority, equal influence in heaven with my own. That's how it continues. Your voice has no equal authority and equal influence with that of your pastor. That is truth. That is truth. Now, are you telling me that the disciples did not command the storm to keep quiet? They must have tried it and struggle and pray all the prayers. But when a person that has a higher authority, higher faith, higher understanding, higher influence in heaven came up and said, Peace be still, there was stillness. They labored to cast out one demon from morning till night in Mark chapter 9. And when the master came now and saw how they were struggling, he asked what was the problem. Then now the man came up and brought this my son to these men, and so as they can deliver him, but have not been able. And Jesus Christ, as he spoke, the demon inside that person recognized the voice of Jesus, recognized the presence of Jesus, because of the authority, because of the work that Jesus have had with God. Now, this recognition was what made those demons to surrender. Now, this recognition that Oga has something that or some of the other authorities we have in the side cannot have. That's why whenever they hear that Oga is around, you see every one of them rushing. Are you listening? Now, the they rush. Not because they didn't regard these ones that are there, but they know that there is something, and it is those our pastors that are on sites, our sites, both at our mama and some other place. Now, it's those pastors that will always tell them that Oga travel, Oga travel. As they come and say, pay us, Oga is not around. Oga is not around, Oga travel. Now, when they now see person, they felt that this person should be the Oga, or they hear that Oga has come, they now pick phone and start calling themselves. And before you know what is happening, all of them. Now, if those people on site did not make those people to know that there is Oga, then they will force them to do what they're supposed to do. Yes, you know that when they come to ask you about money and then you have paid, you have exhausted the one you received, you tell them Oga is not around. And when you tell them Oga is not around, if they had wanted to fight, they will wait. They will try to make some noise, and when nothing come out, then they will surrender, waiting for Oga to come. And whenever Oga comes, and then you want to tell them story again, they will not want to accept it. Is it not true? Each time Oga comes back, Syracuse, you are laughing. Don't you know what I'm talking about? Each time Oga comes around, do you tell them story? They know that Oga has come with what must bring money. Whether money is there or not, Oga has come and money must come. And so whether you like it or not, pay us. Pay us our money. Pay us our money. Oga has come. Praise God. You see the understanding with these people. And when they tell them that, they will come to me and say, look, oh, there is problem, oh, and then I will now be forced to play the Oga and make something to happen. Since I came back yesterday, have I not played that Oga is back? This afternoon, did I not show that Oga is back? By next week, when they come to site, they will know that Oga is back. This is understanding. When you come to the house of God, you should know that there is Oga, the supreme Oga. His name is who? Jesus. Whatever nobody can handle, he can what? Handle it. And he's here tonight. I say he's here tonight. Hallelujah. Even Jesus' mother recognized that Oga was in that wedding. They attended wedding in Canaan, and their wine finished. Their wine had finished. They had no wine. And Mary remembered that she had a son, but that son is her master. That son is her savior, though a son, but her savior and her master. She turned to the people and said, he went to Jesus and said, I had no wine. He said, woman, my time has not come. Why are you troubling me? He turned to the people, whatsoever he tells you to do, do it. And went away. And Jesus turned to the people and told them what to do. And they did what he asked them to do. Did they get result? They got result. Somebody triggered that thing that happened. Somebody recognized even the fruit of her womb. Even who she gave birth to. She recognized that person as the master, as the Lord, who can make impossible to happen. Who can make what has not happened to happen. Who has authority, who is the master. And Jesus, the master of water, the master of wine, that can turn wine to become water, and turn water to become wine. Now ask them, go and fetch water. They fetch water, fill the fickles, fill the gallons, fill the jerrycans. And they did this. So yeah, carry it and go and serve. And they went and served it. Praise God. There was recognition. There was recognition of the master by the mother. She recognized him, and there was the recognition. There was the faith. Recognition was there. There was the faith. There was the servants that were ready to do what they were asked to do. All of this put together yielded the result that came from the master. The master was in that meeting. But somebody that knew that this was the master was the person who identified it. Every person in that gathering did not know that the master was here. But somebody close to the master, somebody close to him, was able to point the people that there is somebody that this time that wine is running out and you are running hectare-scatter, just consult him. Whatever it tells you to do, you do it. You could see the work that Mary did. And she told the truth to them. And what? They bought the truth and they got the miracle. And I'm now selling the truth to you that there is the master in every place. In carpentry workshop, there is a master. In the mechanic workshop, there is a master. In the church, there is what? The master. There is the supreme master, Jesus. And there are also other little masters whom God have given some measure of his grace, measure of influence, measure of anointing, and he recognizes their voices, and he recognizes their authorities, and acts based on what he recognized about them. And so the prophet who died a debtor did not recognize this truth. The prophet was serving under Elisha, and he died as a debtor. He was unable to settle his debts. But there was the prophet's wife. The prophet's wife recognized that my husband is a prophet, but this one is what? The master prophet. And when there was that problem, which we all know, of debtors coming to collect her own children, she cried, and the prophet said, what do you have in your house? She said what she had. She had all those things, even when her husband died. But her husband did not have, has not reached to the level, has not gotten the authority, has not gotten the influence that could make the oil that they had in the house to multiply. But there is a prophet who is senior, who has a higher authority, who has a higher influence, who has a higher authority, and who has a higher dealing with God, that can turn this little oil into fluid of oil that can settle the matter. And this woman went to that prophet and said, this is the situation. What do you have in the house? She had all those things when her husband was there. But her husband, a prophet, but at his level. Are you listening? A prophet at his level. This truth we are selling. Buy it. Buy this truth. I have bought this truth, and it has helped me to relate with my pastor. Are you listening? That, let me give you an example of how I relate. This journey I met with him. Some couple came to us, and then he brought me in and one other pastor that we are to pray. And after talking to them, he prayed and asked me to pray. He has made his prayers. He is the final authority. He is the highest authority in the Watchman. He is the highest man in the Watchman. When he finished his argument, he said, Pastor Gideon, you pray. I said, I don't know what to say. However, what he has asked you to do, please, you will do it. You honor your servant. You have honored him in time past. I finished my prayer. When a higher authority has prayed for somebody, and then I come and I begin to prophesy. Oh no, I don't. I have understanding. I have understanding. Now, you are taking a pot to the mountain, and from the mountain, you turn the pot down so that the oil can come. And then you carry the pot, and then you go down to the hill, and somebody has been taken to the mountain. From the hill, you want to pour oil on the head of somebody that is in the mountain. How do you think about that? So I have understanding. And I make my prayer. The other pastor went on. He also operated according to his level of understanding. Every man at his level of understanding. And so here we are tonight. Jesus Christ of Nazareth, he recognized what he had. He recognized that he has what it takes to bring Lazarus back to life. When he was talking with Mary and Martha, even with the disciple, he said, Lazarus is sleeping, I go to wake him up. And when he got there, they made all the arguments, all that. Jesus understood what he had. He knew he was the master of life and master of death. He said, I am holding the keys. He understood it. And so, the prophets of old also understood their levels, understood what they are operating. And therefore, I want you to understand this truth, because understanding this truth will bring you to some level of liberty, some level of benefits. And in Proverbs 16 verse 22, Proverbs 16 verse 22, the master is calm. That is the title of the charismatic hour. The master is calm. Proverbs 16 and verse 30. Verse 22. Chapter 16 and verse 22. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that had it. But the instruction of fools is what? Folly. He that has understanding, his understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that had it. When you know what you're supposed to know, and you operate with understanding, you will not be in the congregation of the dead. He that wandereth away from understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. At this time, it takes understanding to operate. It takes understanding to get into the miraculous. It takes understanding to enjoy God fully. It takes understanding to do exploit. It takes understanding to get into full spiritual benefits that you should enjoy as a child of God. And in Proverbs 13 and verse 13, whosoever despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. If any person despise truth that the person has heard, he says he shall be destroyed. But when somebody fears the commandment of God by acting on it, that person will be blessed. Now the prophet's wife understood, that is in 2 Kings, she understood and recognized the authority of Elisha, and that understanding was what sorted her out of her predicament. An understanding her husband didn't have. Now, there is also in that same 2 Kings chapter 4, a Shunammite woman who recognized the passage and arrival of a holy prophet of God, a holy man of God. Her recognition of the passage and attending to that man. Men of God have been passing. But when this one came, she understood that this is a holy man of God. Recognized it, respected it, attended unto it. Now, that was what sorted her out of her predicament of many years. She was barren, but that recognition opened the door. That recognition informed the way she related with the prophet. Informed was what informed what she did. Remember, she went to her husband and said, this is a holy man of God. Let's make a place for him, put a table and put a candle and put a bed, so that anytime he passes from this place, he can have rest and have peace. It was understanding. And that brought about that recognition and what she did that yielded the result of having a child, even when it was impossible to have conception. There are two things that can happen whenever the master comes. Two things do happen when the master comes. Whether the master as Jesus or a prophet of God, a senior prophet, when he comes around or when he returns to a place, there are two things that will happen. And one negative, the other positive. Now, when Jesus Christ was preaching in John chapter 9, he was the master. And as he was going about ministering, some people recognized him as their master and gave him that recognition and had faith in him, and that sorted them out of their trouble. Others saw him, they did not recognize him as their master. They did not recognize him. Some of them say he has a devil. Some of them say he's a Samaritan. And they say all sorts of things about him. Now, those who recognize him as the Lord, as the Savior, as the Master, benefited. And those who refused to recognize him suffered for their lack of recognition. In John chapter 9, John chapter 9, 39 to 41. John chapter 9, 39 to 41. And Jesus said, for judgment I am come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind. He said, I came into this world for two reasons. Those who are blind, so they can see. Those who claim to see, so that they can become blind. Those who say we don't know, so that they can be made to know. Those who claim we know, so that they can be put in darkness. Now verse 40. And some of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words and said unto him, are we blind also? Look at what he said. Jesus said unto them, if ye were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say we see, therefore your sin remaineth. Did you see two groups of people that encountered him? The Pharisees, those who claim that we see. Now we know it. We know it. Those people ended up in their sin, ended up dying in their sin, ended up blind. But those who came to him and said, we know nothing, they were the people that benefited. And so it means that when the master, whether Jesus comes or the higher minister, if our GS comes to visit us here, what we benefit from his ministry is dependent on what you know about what I'm talking now. Now, as I've returned from journey, I'm now ministering to you. What we benefit is also dependent on your understanding of this. And as your pastor, you have a matter you have been struggling with over the years. You have done all you have known. And then your pastor says, come, let me pray for you. And then he prays for you. This understanding will determine, if you have this understanding, it will determine you are receiving answer. If you lack this understanding, he will pray for you and your situation will remain the same. Just because you did not recognize that you have made prayer, but prayer past prayer. Authority past authority. Faith past faith. Honor past what? Honor. Honors are not in the same level. When they award people, giving people award, now the person that receives first award, his award will be greater than the one of the second person. If they go to competition and football, and then the people that the people that have the final and the finalists, the two finalists, one has to defeat the other. Now the person who defeated the other one takes the first, the person following follows, these other two teams follow like that until every person gets according to what? His performance. And so in ministry, you need to understand that honors are not at the same level. Authorities are not at the same level. We are not at the same level of faith. We are not at the same level of influence. And therefore, when this is understood, and you go before your house fellowship leader to pray for you. The house fellowship leader could be your wife. The house fellowship leader could be your child. It doesn't matter. After all, Mary, Jesus was a son to Mary. But Mary recognized him. And that recognition was what gave miracle. If she did not recognize and say, but this is my own child, the boy I born the other day, that miracle would have eluded them. Of course, you know that was what happened to Miriam and Aaron. At the point they began to consider, we carried Moses, we saved Moses. Moses was our little boy, our little brother. And that knocked them out, kicked them out of the blessing they should have enjoyed. Therefore, these two things is very important. You make a choice. It is by your choice. You determine what you want to enjoy. As you encounter the master, as your pastor prays for you, when you go to your pastor, that pastor praying for you is like what? A master. Okay? In that matter, he is what? A master in that matter. He has a higher authority than you. If you don't, if you just go, let me fulfill obligation, let it not be all that. You go and you get nothing. Now, when Elijah returned, of course in 1 Kings chapter 18, Elijah, chapter 17, Elijah said there will be no rain for 3.5 years. After 3.5 years, God said, go show yourself to Ahab and I bring rain. And Elisha returned. And the first person Elisha met was Obadiah. And when Obadiah met him, he recognized that it is Elijah. What did he do? He fell down and said, is this my Lord Elijah? He said, I am. Now when the same Elijah that met Obadiah met Ahab, Ahab said, are you he that troubleth Israel? Two people met the same prophet. One saw him as my Lord. The other one saw him as he that troubleth Israel. Are you following? The one who saw him as he that troubleth Israel, he saw trouble. But the one who saw him as, are you my Lord Elijah? That one saw the favor of God and saw the mercy of God. Two people met the returning prophet. One, God saw him as he that troubleth Israel. The other one saw him as my Lord and fell on his faces. Three groups of people were sent, of 50 soldiers were sent to go and arrest Elijah. The first two sets went and said, come down. Come down. And Elijah said, if I be man of God, let fire come down from heaven. The third set, the third set of the 50 went. And when they saw him, what did they do? Their captain fell down and said, spare my life. And the spirit of angel of God said, follow him. He went down. These other people met the prophet. What did they receive from the prophet? Judgment, punishment, and death. This also set of people saw the prophet. What did they receive? They received what? They received they succeeded where the other two teams didn't succeed. Why did they succeed? Their captain. It was the captain that led them. Their spokesman that recognized that this is a man of God. You don't talk to a man of God anyhow. You don't, because the king has sent you to go and bring him down and misbehave. He knew that this is a man of God. So let us plead with him. He fell down and said, spare our lives. It was the captain that determined. These other people that died, they were led to death by their captain. These other 50 that lived, it was their captain that made them to live. We are captains of the locations. I am the captain in this diocese. I can lead you to death. I can also lead you to life. You are captain in the district. You can lead the district to death. You can lead them to life. Now, but it all depends on who your ways. We have captains of the parishes. You can lead those parishes to death. You can also lead them to life. I choose to lead the people in this diocese to life. As I relate with Jesus, they see it with me, and I relate with our Father in the Lord, and they see it. I choose to lead them to life, and to right thing, and to do right thing, and to follow and to obey. Listen to me. If any person is following me, you cannot find anything that will make you to despise our Father in the Lord. You cannot say you have seen any example that will make you to despise him. I want to ask the people in the parishes and in the districts, can the people say that we have not seen something from you, district pastor, that will not make you to make them to despise me? Can the people say in the parish where you are pastoring that they cannot see anything from you that can make you to despise the district pastor? Like that. And in the parishes, if they cannot say that, if they cannot see that, then you are leading them to life. But if they can see things in your life, your language, your attitude, you are doing things anyhow and whatsoever, speaking anyhow, then you are leading that congregation to death. You are not like the leader of the third group. The leader of the third group in 2 Kings chapter 1 led that group to life. Let us see 2 Kings chapter 1. 2 Kings chapter 1. And let us read verse 11. Again also he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50. And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus as the king said, come down quickly. And Elijah answered and said unto him, if I be a man of God, let fire come down